Aries, taking a look at what's going on in the stars for you this March, I really suspect that you're going to be having a lot of breakthroughs and epiphanies, particularly related to your mental health and spirituality. That's because we have Mercury and the Sun joining together with Neptune in your Pisces 12th house of the subconscious mind and spirituality. I do see that some of you are also reprogramming your subconscious mind, maybe rewriting certain beliefs or changing behaviors that potentially could be a form of sabotage. I do also see towards the end of this month with the full moon eclipse in Libra that there could be some sort of major change or ending in a relationship. Perhaps some of you are just letting go of an old connection, or otherwise there could be some sort of shift that is maybe disruptive at first, but ultimately leading to a new beginning or new cycle in your relationships. If you're looking forward to this month's reading, then definitely be sure to hit like, subscribe, and the bell notification if you haven't done that already. That way you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. For those of you who are brand new to this channel, hello and welcome. My name is Michael and I utilize a tried and true method of combining tarot and Western or tropical astrology to intuit accurate monthly forecasts for your zodiac signs. For those of you who are ready for a deep dive and would like to book a personal reading or distance Reiki session with me, you can find a link for my website as well as all of my other social media accounts in the description of this video. While I shuffle the cards for you, Aries, I do just want to give you the reminder that these are general readings, meaning not all the messages that come forward are going to be meant for you specifically. It's up to your own intuition to decide what applies to your own life and how it applies and what should be left behind for somebody else. Do keep in mind that sometimes these energies could also be showing up in the people around you as well. So just come into this with an open mind. The first card we actually do have is the Ace of Pentacles. Maybe in the recent past there has been some sort of move or new job. It feels like there is a focus on a new cycle or new commitment. Maybe some of you are just being more grounded or more practical. But I think particularly with all of the stuff that we've had in Capricorn over the previous months, specifically in January, there may have been some sort of shift or new beginning in work. Or again, in just kind of your day-to-day material life. And this may still be taking some time to manifest or play out. Very often, the Pentacles are the slowest moving element. So when I see the Ace of Pentacles, it's a new beginning that may take some time to really build, but it's often a lasting change or lasting cycle. So I feel like you're moving in the direction of stability overall. I do feel like maybe there's been some sort of grief or depression with the Five of Cups in reverse, but it actually feels like you're kind of getting out of this energy, maybe of like powerlessness or victimhood, and really just looking forward, maybe remembering like, you know, I still have this going for me. And if you're still in that state as we are starting this month or whenever you find this video, maybe this is just kind of your reminder, like, yes, you may have some really big emotions right now, things may be really hard right now, but you also have something to return to, something to kind of remember, to look forward to, and to kind of keep your vision forward and to keep yourself moving. Sometimes too, when we get to a certain place of stability, we can also become more aware of emotions that have kind of been playing out behind the scenes. And it's actually called a delayed trauma response. And I think since the pandemic, a lot of people have had that. And that is something that may very well be coming up for you looking at the astrology, because again, we do have Mercury, which represents the mind, communication, coming together with Neptune, which is intuitive, psychic, illusory, kind of mysterious. And this is happening in your 12th house of Pisces. We do also have the Sun coming together with Neptune and Pisces on the 17th. And both of these transits really do indicate some sort of revelation or some sort of information that may even just be a spiritual download. It may be happening on a very deep level, but it is nonetheless profound. And it's like there is something that is moving you in the direction of spirit. There is some sort of calling here. But I think a lot of this is about you becoming aware of patterns. Maybe some of you are even recognizing destructive behaviors such as addictions, but this could also represent other behaviors as well. Really any form of sabotage. That's going to be something that you're just very aware of this month, and you're kind of realizing what isn't working if you haven't already. But you have the tools. You have the tools to see this through, Aries. That's something I'm really, really feeling with this Ace of Pentacles. I'm almost getting like the magician energy here, where it's like you have all that you need on the table. You just have to implement it. You just have to put it together. And it's kind of like remembering your sovereignty there. What else do we have for Aries? We do have the Six of Swords, which I actually am quite happy to see, because often this does indicate maneuvering out of these choppy waters, this really emotional period, and towards land, towards something more stable. Some of you have had to leave a situation behind. So again, this could be a job, maybe a move. It feels like it's kind of brought up some emotions as well. But again, I really feel like your forward focus is key. You know, you're not looking at these stormy waters anymore. You're looking towards the sun. You're looking towards the horizon and the shore that you are coming into. So you are coming into a new chapter. You are in a transition right now. And I think you're still really feeling that in the month of March, even though this feels like it's kind of been an ongoing process, is what I am getting. We do also have a new moon in Pisces as well. And I think with all of this Pisces energy right now, particularly for you, Aries, it is a very reflective time. It's a very, like, kind of taking review, especially those of you who have your sun in Aries and may have a birthday later this month or in April. This time period, the season before your sign, is usually a very introspective one. There's a lot of taking stock, reviewing things. And this also applies if you have an Aries rising and maybe even Aries moon as well. There's just sort of this almost nostalgic or like reevaluative energy that you are in. But I think now your focus is much more forward moving. And with the new moon in Pisces on the 10th, this is actually a really good time to do things like visualization, really imagining the things you are trying to manifest, as well as maybe creating new habits for yourself, new patterns, having a new spiritual practice, or recommitting to that. All of these things are going to help move you in the right direction, and that's going to kind of help you align with what you are yearning for or trying to move towards. What else do we have for Aries in the month of March? Show us clearly, please. We do also have Mercury and the North Node coming together in your sign, and that's also coming together with Chiron in your sign. So again, Mercury is the mind, it's consciousness, it is communication. Chiron is the wounded healer. So there is a lot of healing. There is a lot of maybe wounds that are coming up or things that you were healing. And the North Node is kind of like the direction your soul wants to go in. It's where you're yearning, and you have the North Node in your sign. So anyone with Aries placements right now is really like answering this higher calling or this call to grow and expand, and that can feel like leaving something familiar behind. And particularly around the 18th to the 20th, that's when all of these players are really coming online for you. And that's just a day after the sun comes together with Neptune in Pisces. So I really feel like by the middle or end to this month, it's like you've had these epiphanies, you've had these breakthroughs, and now there's like this implementation. Something is changing. Something is literally moving along in your life. And it's a healing process, and that may come with a little pain. I'm not going to lie, it may be a bit of a tender time, especially as we are moving into your season. You may start off feeling more sensitive than usual. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I think it is very necessary. And we do also have Venus and Saturn coming together in Pisces on the 21st. So really, from like the 17th through the 21st, there's a lot that's happening, both in your subconscious mind, but really like, I need to change. I can't keep doing the things I've been doing. I need to move forward. You know, that's really what this is giving. And then we do also have your ruling planet Mars going into your sign. I think it's either the 21st or 22nd. And this is just kind of this renewal. You are finally taking action on things. So it may feel like there's a bit of just kind of feeling lost at sea right now, at least at the time of this recording. But then as you get further and further into March, it's kind of like finding the wind in your sails. There's more of a momentum. And then by the 22nd, it's like there is a big shift where your energy is kind of coming back. You're much more self-directed. And you could be making some changes in relationships as well. We do have the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra that is happening on the 25th. But going back to Venus and Saturn coming together, there's a very serious thing that you're thinking about: values and relationships, and maybe becoming aware of those subconscious relationship patterns. Maybe some of you are healing an attachment style. I feel like a lot of you are just committing to yourself, if that makes any sense. You're committing to your mental health. You're committing to what's good for you, even if that means saying no to things that seem exciting or seem like something you would usually say yes to. It's like there's something that is healing here. And I really do get that with the Four of Swords and the Queen of Cups. You're really healing your heart. I feel like some of you are saying no to a person. Maybe a water sign, could be Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But I feel like you're kind of in this place where it's like, I don't need to rush towards anything right now. I really need to focus on my growth, on my healing, and especially when it comes to relationships, I don't feel like you're trying to rush into anything new, that's for sure. And for those of you who are in relationships, it feels like you're kind of just really internally focused right now, coming back to the heart of something. I feel like a lot of you are it's almost like you're considering a relationship or maybe ending a relationship. But either way, it's like you're really weighing things out, you're feeling things out in your heart, and you're taking some time to pause. And that doesn't just have to be about love or another person either. That could also be about your direction. But I do think for many of you, it will be tied to relationships. Again, just kind of looking at the astrology. But I really feel like you're just thinking about things. You're sleeping on it. Let yourself sleep on something, Aries. And it's like needing to choose yourself first, because you can't actually have a relationship if you're not in it. You know, if you're giving up parts of yourself, if you're not fully showing up, then you're not really relating to that person. And I really feel like right now the focus is the relationship for yourself, and especially as you're coming maybe into a birthday or just into your Aries season, this is like, there needs to be some sort of commitment to yourself. And I think that's really going to be playing out specifically in April on the 8th, when we have a new moon solar eclipse in your sign, the Great American Eclipse. It'll be the last eclipse in North America for, I believe, over a decade. So it's kind of a significant one for those of us here. And it's almost like you're sensing that something is shifting. And you're kind of in this reflective place, this restful place. You're kind of sparing your energy or conserving your energy. We do have the King of Pentacles, so you definitely are moving towards stability. And it's actually interesting to kind of see this full circle where we started with the Ace of Pentacles. We now have the King of Pentacles. And this is the card for the future. This is what you are moving towards. And it really feels like there is a seed that you have already planted. There is something you've already put out into the universe, or something that you've been trying to manifest. And it feels like you are growing in that direction. You are moving in that direction. And it feels like there's some sort of restraint. Four of Swords, Queen of Cups to me is almost giving me temperance energy, where it's like you're kind of feeling things out. You're not rushing anything. You're understanding that your heart needs more time in some way, even if you are moving forward in your day-to-day life. And it's like you're not rushing towards anything, but you are moving in the right direction, if that makes any sense. I feel like some of you need to hear that message. Some of you might be doubting it because it's like, well, shouldn't things be happening faster for me? I'm really feeling like divine timing is a huge theme for you this month as well. And that's just something that you kind of have to trust in. I do feel for many of you, again, with this King of Pentacles, it's like you're coming into a very powerful and stable place. I'd actually like to clarify, what does this King of Pentacles represent for Aries? What is this direction that Aries is moving into? You know, we do have the Ten of Cups here as well, and part of me did wonder if this was like another person. Maybe some of you are connecting with an earth sign, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, or just really looking for like a stable relationship and loving connections. And that doesn't just have to be about a romantic relationship either. I feel like you're looking for more stable relationships. There could perhaps be something with marriage happening for some of you. Sometimes eclipses in the 7th house, which is what Libra is for you, isn't a marriage indicator. I actually had a sibling who got married on a lunar eclipse, just incidentally, wasn't planned, which was really cool. And I'm wondering if there's maybe some sort of proposal or engagement or just some sort of move in that direction, maybe taking a relationship more seriously. That could also be like moving in with somebody, or just like not dating someone just for the sake of dating them. Like you want the real thing, whatever that means to you, because it's different for everybody. And you're also just very committed to your long-term happiness. What are the things that you want to experience in your life? And how can you move in that direction? How can you nourish those things? Anything else for Aries? Anything else we should be aware of? We have the Knight of Wands. Interesting that this came out sideways. It's like getting your fire back, but don't be rash here either. Why is the Knight of Wands here? Interesting. 7 of Wands. There may be some sort of conflict, maybe with a Sagittarius or another fire sign, another Aries, or maybe Leo. But don't say more than you need to this person. It feels like there's some sort of fight or conflict. And that kind of makes sense with the with Mars actually going into your sign. There may be some aggression or conflict directed at you because Mars can rule over those things. But it could, again, also be like conflict in a connection or in a relationship. And that could really be any kind of relationship. But I get the sense like there's almost this on-edgeness or defensiveness. And it's like, I'm really just getting like this don't say more than you need to. Say what you must. But who are you really trying to prove things to? Is it really about this other person or is it about yourself? So that's interesting, kind of coming in here. Eight of Cups. Yeah, some of you do need to maybe distance yourself from this or need to take more time to think about this and contemplate about something. It's almost like picking and choosing your battles. And I really feel like, Aries, you are just on a quest right now. And that makes a lot of sense with the North Node in your sign. It's actually going to be here all of 2024. It does move into Pisces at the beginning of 2025. But it feels right now like there's a lot of almost like come to Jesus moments, like come to yourself sort of moments where it's like there's a humility in this growth. And there's maybe like an accepting who you are and where you're at, which can be very freeing. But it can also kind of be like your own ego might get tripped up. That actually could be what's happening with Chiron as well, because Chiron can kind of represent those ego wounds. We all have them. You might be feeling very defensive around that time, and I think it's really important to kind of ask yourself on a deeper level, like, what is the story I'm telling myself about this? Like, why is this triggering me so much? Why am I being so activated by this situation right now, or this conflict, or what this person said, or what this person didn't do or say? There's this need to really honestly check yourself is kind of like what it comes across as. And I don't mean this to be like heavy-handed or anything. This actually was kind of on the side. Like, you might just be having some really important like self-examination this month. Some moments of that, or just some like reality checks in that way. And that can be very much connected to Neptune in Pisces. You've probably been feeling this in February as well with Saturn in Pisces. It's like there's kind of been this almost like it's very easy with this energy, Aries, to almost slip into the sense of victimhood. Like, all of these things have kind of happened to me. This person has done this to me. And, you know, obviously I'm speaking very generally here. I can't speak to every specific individual situation. You'll know if this is true for you. But I think if you kind of sit with these situations a little longer, you can probably see, like, yeah, I kind of did have a hand in this. I kind of did play into this a little bit. And that's not to victim blame anyone. I feel like I always get comments about that. And I'm really trying to be conscientious of that. Like, no one deserves, you know, to be treated poorly. No one deserves abuse. And I'm not talking about that. It's more like if you're feeling very powerless to a situation, maybe there's actually something empowering about looking at, well, you know, I've actually been kind of acting from this place of trauma. And this is what this has led me to. You know, there's a lot of nuance here, and I hope that doesn't get lost. I know it's easy to in these videos. I just think for some of you, there is kind of this like, oh yeah, I see what I've done. I see how that's kind of resulted in this, and I can choose differently. I can rewrite the story. I can move in a different direction. It doesn't have to be this way. So it feels like a really important month in that. Even if there's not a lot going on externally, it's like, there's this inner journey that's happening for you. Anything else for Aries? Let's pull an animal card if I can find that deck. You know what? I'm actually feeling the Starseed Oracle for you, which is interesting. I don't always pull from this deck, but this actually feels like the card to kind of end things on. What is the message for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising for the month of March? Show us clearly, please. What is the advice or guidance for Aries during this time? Really connecting to your guides. I'm also getting ancestors. We have a few cards that came out. Is there one? This one. Interesting. Wow. Okay, so we have You're Not for Everyone. That's probably that ego wound coming in. Embrace your weirdness and face your true north. There are going to be people who don't understand you, and that's kind of the thing I was getting earlier. It's not about trying to change someone's mind or fight them. It's almost a lost battle at that point. Like, you kind of just need to embrace your journey, your path. What else do we have for Aries? Yeah, there's a few that keep trying to come out here. Interesting. Cracked Open. Rock Bottom, Surrender to the Alchemy of Life, and Star Ancestors. There we go with the ancestors. Hidden secrets, lost wisdom, and look a little deeper. Interesting. So yeah, I feel like some of you, this You're Not For Everyone card is giving me North Node vibes, especially follow your true north. Like follow your calling, follow your North Star, whatever that means for you. The cracked open kind of makes sense because there has been a lot of like really intense emotional things that have been coming up. And it feels like this is almost the turning point, right? Like you kind of had to, or you've ended up at this point and now you're pushing yourself open, and it's not about fighting, it's not about being defensive. It's almost like this surrender into this process that feels uncomfortable because it kind of feels like you're letting go of an old version of yourself or an old story about your life or, about you. And it feels like seeing the true self, recognizing the self beneath the self. Ooh, that resonated. The self behind the self. And the star ancestors is interesting with hidden wisdom, or hidden secrets, lost wisdom, look a little deeper. I know this is the Starseed Oracle deck, you guys, but I really do think of this as also like looking deeper, looking into your ancestors, looking into your intergenerational trauma, looking into those things as well and how you may have been acting those things out too. Maybe there's like a family secret that comes to light as well for some of you. Or there's just some sort of dynamic that you're clocking that actually makes a lot of sense. Like a lot of the time it's like, it's not until we're well into adulthood when we look back on our childhood or upbringing when we see like, or recognize certain patterns and can name them. That could be something that's happening here as well. And of course, connecting with your guides. I really do feel like some of you are connecting with ancestral guides in particular and maybe doing some sort of ancestral healing. A lot of the time ancestors do come up when there's something regarding home or family or close domestic relationships. Our family members like to come through and help with those, especially if they played a hand in making those patterns. So that might be something that you're connecting with as well. But overall, Aries, this feels like a very soulful month for you. I know maybe this wasn't the most exciting and extravagant reading, but it does feel like the messages that need to come through. I'm trusting that this is what you needed to hear, and I hope this was nourishing. I hope this gave you some perspectives and some epiphanies in and of itself. It feels like more are on the way. And if you've made it this far into this video and it was helpful, definitely be sure to hit like and subscribe and that bell notification so you always stay up to date with what's in the stars for you. Again, I have all of my links in the description of this video for personal readings and distance Reiki sessions, which you can book on my website, as well as all of my other social media accounts. And you're also welcome to check out the other videos on my channel, maybe for your moon or rising sign. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Aries, and a happy and blessed March.